Best Monstera and growing them big. Monstera Care Light, Repotting, Soil, Water. Hey there, fellow green thumbs. Welcome back to Earthly Delights, the cozy corner where we turn everyday homes into lush sanctuaries, one plant at a time. Whether you're a plant parent nurturing your very first Monstera or a seasoned indoor gardener chasing that jungle aesthetic, you're in the right place. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood in awe at someone else's Monstera, towering like a leafy giant, and wondered, how do they get it to grow that big? Well, today, I'm revealing the real secrets behind growing Monstera, not just beautifully, but boldly. From choosing the right soil, to light, water, repotting, and even training those aerial roots, we'll dive deep into everything you need to know. This episode isn't just about care. It's about connection, to your space, to your routine, and to a living thing that quietly transforms your home with each unfolding leaf. Because if you're here, I know you're not just looking for tips, you're searching for that peace, pride, and presence that only plant care can give. So, settle in, grab your coffee or your watering can, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the green magic we're growing here every week on Earthly Delights. Part 1, Meet the Monstera, a plant with character. Let's begin our journey with the one, the only, the Monstera. A plant so iconic, its silhouette is printed on everything from throw pillows to tattoos. But beyond the hype and aesthetics lies a species with depth, diversity, and personality. Monsteras are native to the lush rainforests of Central America, where they grow under canopies of filtered sunlight, climbing trees with their thick aerial roots and basking in high humidity. There are over 45 known species, but the star of the show, the one you'll see in homes and shops around the world, is the Monstera Deliciosa. It's named for its monstrous, split leaves and the fruit it bears in the wild. Yes, it's edible, though most of us will never see it indoors. But here's something many new plant parents don't realize. Each Monstera has its own mood. Some are more laid back, like the Monstera adansonii, with its delicate holes and vining charm. Others are rare, pricey, and dramatic, like the Thai constellation or Monstera albo, with their variegated patterns and diva-like needs. No matter which one you bring home, what makes Monstera truly special is how it adapts to your life. It listens to your care, responds with new leaves, and over time, becomes a living sculpture in your space. That's why it's not just a plant, it's a quiet companion. And now that you've met it, let's talk about how to help it grow into the leafy legend it was born to be. Part 2. The big question. How big do you want it? Before we even water our Monstera for the first time, there's one question every plant lover should ask. How big do I want this beauty to become? It sounds simple, but the answer will shape everything, from the pot you choose to where you place it in your home. You see, Monsteras are natural climbers, and given the right conditions, they can grow into massive, floor-to-ceiling masterpieces. But that doesn't happen overnight. Even fast-growing Monsteras take time, especially indoors, where light and humidity aren't as abundant as the jungles they come from. So if your dream is a large, leafy showstopper, consider starting with a more mature plant. It might cost a little more, but it saves you years of waiting and gives you a stronger foundation to build on. Still, don't be discouraged if you're starting small. With the right care, even a young Monstera can surprise you. What matters most is your vision, your goal for how this plant will shape your space. Do you imagine it stretching across your living room window, filling an empty corner with tropical flair, or maybe hanging gently in a cozy reading nook? Whatever your dream is, set your intention now. Because growing a Monstera isn't just about soil and water. It's about patience, purpose, and growing alongside it. And now that you've set the stage, let's make sure you choose the healthiest Monstera to bring home. Part 3. Choosing a healthy plant, the smart shopper's guide. So, you've decided to bring a Monstera into your life. But how do you choose the right one, the one that will thrive, not just survive? Imagine this. You're standing in your favorite nursery or plant shop, eyes wandering over rows of glossy green leaves. They all look beautiful. But here's the truth. Beauty isn't always the best indicator of health. What you really want is a plant that's not only pretty, but strong from the inside out. Start with the leaves. Look closely. Are they vibrant and unblemished, or do they have yellow spots, holes that don't belong, or curling edges? These signs can hint at pests or disease hiding beneath the surface. Then take a peek at the roots if you can. Gently lift the plant from its pot and check. Healthy roots should be firm and white, never mushy or brown. Don't forget the soil. If it feels soggy or smells sour, walk away. Overwatering and poor drainage are silent plant killers. And here's a tip I've learned the hard way. Always look for new growth. A fresh leaf unfurling is a plant's way of saying, I'm happy and ready to keep going. Choosing the right Monstera is like choosing a new friend. You're investing in a relationship. So take your time, observe carefully, and trust your gut. Once you've found the one, the real journey begins, with light, space, and setting the stage for lush, powerful growth. Let's head there next. Part 4. Location is the foundation of growth. Now that you've brought home your perfect Monstera, it's time for one of the most important decisions you'll make. Where to place it. Because here's the thing, your plant may be gorgeous, but without the right light, it won't thrive. And that lush, oversized look you're dreaming of, it starts with smart placement. Monsteras love bright, indirect light. Think of a sunlit room with sheer curtains or a few feet back from a big window. That gentle brightness mimics the dappled light of the rainforest canopy they come from. Place it in too much shade and you'll notice smaller leaves, slower growth, and fewer of those iconic fenestrations. Put it in direct sunlight and those precious leaves might burn or crisp at the edges. But don't worry, if your space is on the dim side, there's still hope. A good grow light can work wonders, especially during darker months or in windowless corners. I've used one myself in my hallway, and within weeks, my Monstera perked up with a fresh new leaf. The truth is, location isn't just about sunlight. It's about creating a space where your Monstera feels at home. A quiet corner in your living room, near your reading chair, or by your kitchen window. You're not just placing a plant, you're designing an experience. Once your Monstera has found its happy place, it's time to talk about the roots, the hidden engine of growth. Let's dig into that next. Part 5. The root of all growth. Happy roots equals happy plant. Beneath every thriving Monstera is something most plant lovers never see, its roots. And trust me, if there's one secret I wish I'd known sooner, it's this. The magic of your Monstera doesn't start with the leaves. It starts underground. Healthy roots are the heartbeat of a big, beautiful plant. If they're cramped, soggy, or starving for oxygen, your Monstera will struggle, no matter how much light or love you give it. One of the most common reasons people see slow growth or yellowing leaves? A root system that's outgrown its space. That's why repotting at the right time matters so much. Not too early, not too late. A slightly root-bound Monstera is usually happy, but once the roots start circling the pot tightly or pushing through the drainage holes, it's time for an upgrade, usually once every year or two. When you do repot, go just 1 or 2 sizes up. Anything larger can overwhelm the plant and lead to soggy soil. Personally, I love using clear nursery pots for my Monsteras. It lets me check the roots and moisture levels without disturbing the plant. And it tucks neatly into any decorative pot I want to display. Remember, if the roots can breathe, the leaves will dance. And once those roots are cozy and strong, it's time to give them the perfect soil to live in. Ready to mix it up? Let's head into soil secrets next. Part 6, Soil Secrets for Giant Monsteras. If roots are the heart of your Monstera, then soil is the bed it sleeps in. And like any good bed, it needs to be soft, supportive, and breathable. The mistake I see all too often? People reach for a standard potting mix and wonder why their plant starts to droop or rot. But Monsteras aren't ordinary houseplants. They're aroids, born to climb trees with their roots nestled in loose, airy jungle debris. That means they crave soil that drains well, yet holds just enough moisture to keep those roots hydrated. Too dense, and the roots suffocate. Too loose without nutrition, and they go hungry. The key is balance. Personally, I like to mix 40% quality potting soil with 30% orchid bark, 20% perlite, and just a touch, 10% of worm castings. This creates a chunky, breathable environment where roots can stretch and grow with ease. Of course, if DIY isn't your thing, there are fantastic pre-mixed options out there tailored for Monsteras and other tropical plants. Investing in a good mix, especially for rare varieties like Monstera albo or Thai constellation, can make all the difference. It's like giving your plant a custom mattress instead of a lumpy couch. Once your soil is just right, you're setting the stage for powerful growth. But here's the next step many plant parents overlook: supporting that growth with something to climb. And trust me, your Monstera has been dreaming of it. Let's talk moss poles, planks, and trellises. Part 7. Climb, baby, climb. Moss poles, trellises, and planks. If you've ever wondered why your Monstera seems to grow out instead of up, sprawling over shelves, or flopping over its pot, it's because you haven't given it something it craves by nature, a place to climb. In the wild, Monsteras don't just sit in the soil. They stretch and cling to tree trunks, using their aerial roots to anchor themselves as they chase the light above the canopy. That same instinct exists in your living room. And if you want your Monstera to grow big and bold, it needs vertical support. This is where moss poles, wooden planks, and trellises come in. Each one offers your plant a pathway upward. And choosing the right one depends on your space and your style. Moss poles are fantastic because they hold moisture, helping aerial roots stay hydrated and attach naturally. Wooden planks, on the other hand, give your Monstera a sturdy surface to grab onto, just like bark in the wild. And if you want something decorative and flexible, trellises can add an artistic flair while guiding your plant's shape. Whichever you choose, the goal is the same: support the plant's natural instincts and let it express itself vertically. I always recommend gently tying the stems to the support using soft ties or Velcro, and if you can, mist the pole or plank regularly to encourage root attachment. Once your Monstera starts climbing, you'll notice something magical: larger leaves, deeper fenestrations, and a sense of strength in its stance. And to fuel all this upward energy, it's time to feed your Monstera right. Let's get into the nutrients next. Part 8. Feeding your hungry Monstera. Just like us, Monsteras need fuel to grow, especially when they're climbing high and unfurling those magnificent leaves. And while soil gives them a solid foundation, it's fertilizer that keeps the momentum going. But before you grab the nearest bottle and start pouring, let's talk timing, type, and balance. Monsteras do most of their growing in the warmer months, spring through early fall. That's when you'll want to feed them regularly, starting with a half-strength dose early in the season, then moving to full strength as growth kicks in. Come autumn, taper off, and during winter, let them rest. Unless you see fresh new leaves, then you can give a little nourishment at half strength. Now, I know the fertilizer aisle can be overwhelming. Organic or synthetic, liquid or slow release. The good news is, your Monstera doesn't need anything fancy. A balanced houseplant fertilizer, something like a 20-20-20 or even a gentle organic mix, will do just fine. I always start mild to avoid burning the roots, especially with young or recently repotted plants. For those who love the natural route, homemade options like banana peel tea or diluted worm compost tea can also work beautifully. Whatever you choose, consistency is key. Feeding isn't about speed, it's about steady, sustained energy. And when you get it right, your Monstera responds with gratitude. Vibrant color, stronger stems, and leaves that stretch wider than your hand. But even with the best care, there are seasons of pause. Let's talk about growth expectations and the patience that makes it all worth it. Part 9. Monstera growth stages and emotional expectations. Here's something every plant parent needs to hear. Growth isn't always obvious, especially with Monsteras. One month they're shooting out giant, picture-perfect leaves. The next, nothing. Just stillness. But that pause doesn't mean failure. It often means the plant is doing something invisible but essential. Monsteras, like many houseplants, grow in waves. They focus on roots first, then leaves. Sometimes they rest, especially during cooler months, when light fades and temperatures drop. That stillness, it's part of their rhythm, and learning to trust it is one of the most rewarding parts of this plant journey. I've had Monsteras go weeks, even months, without a new leaf, only to suddenly erupt with 2 at once. The key is not to panic. Keep offering consistent care, observe, and wait. Growth will return, often when you least expect it. This is also where emotion ties in. Your Monstera becomes a reflection of your effort, your environment, and even your energy. And when you finally see that fresh, tightly rolled leaf push its way out, you'll feel it, a little spark of joy, a sense that something is working. To keep the motivation going, I recommend taking monthly photos, not for Instagram unless you want to, but for yourself. When you look back, you'll see what your eyes often miss: progress. Slow, beautiful, unstoppable progress. Now that you understand your Monstera's rhythm, let's talk about how to multiply that joy, literally, by learning how to propagate and share it. Part 10, Propagation, multiplying the joy. If you've ever wished you could have more Monstera without spending another dime, good news. Your Monstera is more than willing to multiply itself if you just know how to guide the process. Propagation isn't just a plant trick, it's a celebration, a way to extend the life, legacy, and love you've poured into your original plant. The best method for Monsteras is stem cutting. Look for a healthy stem with a node, that little bump where leaves and aerial roots emerge. With a clean cut just below the node, you've got the beginning of a brand new plant. You can root it in water, in soil, or even leca, depending on your style and setup. Personally, I love rooting cuttings in water. There's something deeply satisfying about watching those little roots curl and reach day by day. Patience is key here too. Rooting can take weeks, and transferring too early can shock the cutting. But once those roots are strong, about 2 inches long, you can pot it up, give it light, and watch it flourish. And here's the best part. Propagating your Monstera lets you share the joy. Gift a cutting to a friend, start your own jungle corner in another room, or simply celebrate your plant's ability to keep growing, giving, and regenerating. It's moments like these that remind us, plants aren't just decor. They're a living, generous part of our lives. Now that you've multiplied the beauty, let's explore how to style and display your thriving Monstera like a work of art. Part 11, Monstera Aesthetic, Styling, Display, and Home Design Tips. By now, your Monstera is not just a plant, it's becoming a statement. So let's talk about how to let it shine in your space. Because placement isn't just about light anymore, it's about presence. A mature Monstera has the power to transform a room. Think of it as a living sculpture. In a bright corner, it becomes a natural focal point. Next to a reading chair, it softens the mood. Against a white wall, those split leaves become art. And if you have high ceilings, let it climb. A tall moss pole or a vertical trellis can draw the eye upward and create a lush, dramatic effect that no framed print can match. But styling isn't just about where you put it, it's also what you put it in. A neutral ceramic pot gives it a modern, clean look. A woven basket adds warmth and texture. A plant stand can elevate it, literally and visually, making even smaller Monsteras look impressive. I also love pairing them with trailing plants like pothos or upright companions like a ZZ plant to create a layered jungle feel. And don't underestimate the power of rotation. Turning your Monstera regularly encourages balanced growth and keeps its posture strong. At the end of the day, your Monstera is part of your home story. Let it reflect your personality. Let it grow wild or train it with care. And when people walk in and ask, "Is that real?" you'll smile, knowing the journey that leaf by leaf, you made it thrive. Next, let's talk troubleshooting, because even the healthiest Monsteras can throw us a curveball now and then. Part 12, Troubleshooting Common Monstera Issues. Even with the best intentions, sometimes our Monsteras send us signals that something's off. A yellowing leaf here, a droopy stem there, and suddenly, panic sets in. But take a breath. These signs aren't the end of the world. They're just your Monstera's way of whispering, "Hey, I need a little help." Let's decode the most common issues. Yellow leaves? Often that's overwatering. Monsteras like their roots moist but never soggy. Feel the soil. If it's wet days after watering, it's time to check drainage, or wait longer between sips. Brown, crispy edges? That could be dry air or inconsistent watering. If your home has low humidity, especially in winter, a simple pebble tray or humidifier can work wonders. What about droopy leaves? It can go both ways, either too much water or not enough. The trick is to lift the pot. If it's surprisingly light, it's thirsty. If it's heavy and the soil feels mushy, time to hold back and let it dry out. And yes, pests happen. Spider mites, fungus gnats, and mealybugs all love a cozy Monstera. Wipe the leaves regularly, inspect the undersides, and keep airflow steady. I do a quick weekly check as part of my Sunday plant routine, just a moment of connection and care. The beauty of plant care is that every problem comes with a lesson. Don't let a few spots or setbacks discourage you. Instead, see them as part of the ongoing dialogue between you and your plant. And speaking of growth, let's wrap up this journey with a reflection on just how far you and your Monstera have come. Part 13, grow together, grow strong. So here we are, full circle. From selecting your very first Monstera to helping it climb, thrive, and even multiply. And maybe along the way, you've realized that this journey wasn't just about growing a plant. It was about growing something in you, too. Because nurturing a Monstera, especially one that grows big and bold, isn't just about soil, light, or water. It's about showing up, about noticing the small changes, adjusting when things go wrong, and staying patient during the quiet seasons. In many ways, your Monstera becomes a living mirror, reflecting the care, energy, and consistency you give it. And over time, it transforms from a houseplant into a presence, a companion, a part of your space and your story. So whether you're standing beside a Monstera that stretches towards your ceiling, or you're just beginning with a small cutting in a sunny kitchen window, remember this: every leaf unfurled is a quiet victory. A reminder that growth, real, deep, lasting growth, takes time. If this video inspired you, helped you, or simply made you feel more connected to your plant journey, be sure to subscribe to Earthly Delights. There's so much more we're going to explore together. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your Monstera story? Until next time, keep growing, keep glowing, and let your space be a sanctuary for you and every green thing within it. A final note from Earthly Delights. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the world of Monstera care. I hope this episode left you not only with practical tools, but also a sense of connection to your plant, to your home, and maybe even to yourself. Here on Earthly Delights, we believe that every home has the potential to be a haven, and every leaf tells a story. Whether you're nurturing a single Monstera in your apartment or building a whole green sanctuary, know that you're part of a growing community that values patience, beauty, and presence. If you found something valuable here, an idea, a moment of clarity, or even just a bit of encouragement, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got so many exciting topics ahead, from rare plant spotlights to simple indoor gardening hacks you can start today. And don't be shy. Drop a comment below and share your Monstera wins, your struggles, or just say hi. We're all learning and growing together, one leaf at a time. Until next time, keep your roots grounded, your light strong, and your heart open. This is Earthly Delights, where plants and people grow side by side.